after it's pitched. Again full and again flicked away on the leg side. Hello, hello. My goodness. Lilly really did ask for that, and that's really very silly. Javed Miandad, hello. My goodness. Oh, this is absolutely disgraceful. It really is absolutely stupid. I cannot understand. Lilly actually asked for that. He encroached upon Javed Miandad's line, and we very nearly had ourselves a fight on the ground. I really think that that's very silly, and I think that Greg Chappell is actually having a pretty harsh word there with Dennis Lilly.
I sincerely hope so, because that was a terrible thing to see on the cricket field. Really is taking antagonism far too far. We're glad to see Greg Chappell come into that. And as you can see, he there aiming a kick at Javed Miandad, and Miandad aiming to hit Lilly with the bat. And umpire Crafter here doing a very good job.
That was the second part of that incident. In fact, I would suggest that it was started by Lilly. On this occasion, Lilly gets his hands up and, in fact, moves backwards now to get into Javed Miandad's way, I think. Javed Miandad prepared to go around him. Lilly moving across into his way. Now, remember, Javed Miandad's out of his crease there. Lilly sticking the shoulder into Miandad, and, of course, Miandad pushing him because he's got to get into the batting crease. Miandad has a hit at that one, and it's gone down to deep mid-wicket. And so that's how that little incident started, and there's no doubt in my opinion that it was started by Lilly. And it really was a nasty one. Fight taking place on the cricket ground, but this is about as close as one has ever come to it. Lilly moving across, putting his shoulder into Javed Miandad's chest. Miandad has to try and go for his crease, because if he doesn't, he could be run out. Lilly then turns around and points towards the umpire as if to say, Pakistani manager with a cigarette in his hand, he's got big enough problems without having incidents to worry about. His team is about to get slaughtered. But they are very seriously, obviously, discussing the incident. And it wouldn't surprise me if we heard a rumour or something of that sort suggesting that the Pakistanis might be going home. I quite often hear those sort of rumours when incidents like this take place. That's a fine shot by Raja. Beautifully placed down the ground.
As we see it, now veering slightly away from the Australian fast bowler. And as I see it, just a little verbal coming into the thing there. And Lilly reacts by coming across towards the Pakistan captain. Now, it's at that point, with Javed pushing out the bat, that the Australian players who sat in judgment on this thing say that Javed shoved the bat at Dennis Lilly. That's their version of it. The umpire now comes in. Very quick work by Tony Crafter to get in there. And then we had the two unsavoury things that I hope never to see repeated on a cricket field. Perhaps Tony Crafter would have been better off not to be there. Might have brought it all to a very speedy halt.
So then I played ball on leg side, and I was just looking there, and I was taking singles. And when I was going to other ends, and obviously Lilly, he stopped me, and he was abusing me. And obviously when I saw ball went to Gordy Marchand, and he was trying to hit other end, and I pushed him, and after that he kicked me. And I think then after that, umpires come between us, and he start abusing me and using dirty words to me. And obviously he upset me after that.
3 o'clock on the 16th of November 1981. That's a time and an incident that will live long.
Miandad had sort of a couple of times said a few things. I'd said a few things. We both exchanged pleasantries or whatever. But yeah, it had been going on for some time. I think it's probably been going on for a few years as well. So it's nothing new. But yeah, it's nothing out of the ordinary. Some chipping going on.
What about the kick? Do you regret that?
I think I believe in an eye for an eye. I've always believed that. I think if someone started something, I believe that you're within your rights to do something. I don't think it was probably the right thing to do, but also bearing in mind that he was bearing down on me with a bat too at one stage, so obviously he was fairly keen to, I don't think he probably mentioned that in his interview, but he was obviously fairly keen to do something himself. So, you know, I think you've got to look at both sides, and I don't feel, to be honest, that there would have been any incident at all if he hadn't charged into me. So I lay the blame completely on his shoulders.
We've got a slight divergence of opinion there. They don't seem to be as one on exactly what happened. And as I say, you can have a look at the replays in your home living room and continue to make up your own minds. We also talked this morning with the Australian team manager, John Edwards.
John Edwards, the Australian players have had a very good look at the Channel 9 replay of the incident. What was their version after looking at it?
Well, after looking 7 or 8 times, Ian, at the slow-mo replays in particular, they came to the decision, most of them who hadn't been close to the incident, that Dennis did have some cause for a type of retaliatory action. At the same time, not condoning his action in any shape or form. They made that perfectly clear. But the reason that their fine was $200, which seems pretty light on the face of the what happened, was so low, was because they thought that the first actual physical contact was made by Javed. And that's after watching the slow-mo several times in that room, just one after the other. So probably something no one in Australia has had a chance to do, see so many in such a short time of it.
So they think, in their own opinion, that Javed's action was on purpose, that he hit Lilly on purpose.
Oh, by all means. They think that he shoved him pretty forcibly, which shows up pretty well in that. That had he not done that, nothing else may have followed. And this is part of their reasoning in doing it. They're also a bit disturbed too that Dennis, of course, is the big mad man, which he has been for painted several years, or you've been with him longer than I have, but in 3 years of managing sides, I've got on famously. It's a pleasure to work with Dennis. Although, you know, his aluminium bat thing gave us a bit of a stir-up. He's that sort of fellow. He's a volatile fellow. But by the same token, Javed's not exactly the white-haired boy around the place, and we go back to that Rodney Hogg incident in the Melbourne Cricket Ground when he ran him out while he was patting the wicket down. That didn't go over very well with Melbourne crowds, and the boys have found him a bit irritating on the field over the years. So he's not just the white-haired boy that he's sort of being painted as the big hero at the moment. But that's not. I'm not sort of trying a mudslinging match there. And by the same token, again, I point out that Dennis Lilly's action was certainly not condoned in any way by any members of the team. I think the major criticism they're coming under now is that the fine of $200 was too low. This seems to be the sensitive opinion, but it was unanimous.
With that in mind, are you expecting any more from the board on the incident?
I've heard nothing conclusive about that. No board member has mentioned that to me, although I did late last night see Phil Ridings and Lenny Maddox.